bounties for the big chase cards and the ambassador program. Are these two things linked? Yes, they are. A lot of people have been issuing their opinions all over various social media platforms about the ambassador program for Magic the Gathering and about these bounties that are being issued for all the big chase cards, specifically in the Hobbit. It's the Smaug Golden Border card. And there are not a lot of people talking about the fact that these things are linked, in my opinion. Also, I have I would say, kind of controversial opinion about the ambassador program.
Oh boy, here's a hot take.
I think the ambassadors are actually getting screwed. Now, I know a lot of people are feeling some type of way about the ambassadors getting all the free Hobbit collector's boxes and all this kind of stuff, and then they pump out, I don't know how many videos each one of them pump out about, oh, thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for sending me my Hobbit collector's box, and people crying and shit.
The fealty.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of loyalty to the company that is making this product and sending the free product to the ambassadors. And rightly so. I have no problem with that. The crazy thing to me is that in any other industry where a brand does a deal with an influencer and they require what is called PE, personal endorsement of the product, so that requires the person that they're making the deal with to use the product in some capacity, potentially even to have it on camera with them, they are getting that product for free, then they are also getting paid to make the video. I don't think any of these Magic ambassadors are getting paid to make these videos. They are getting the free product, which for Wizards of the Coast is free, and they are doing free labor for Wizards of the Coast. That to me is the wildest part. Like if you're doing a brand deal with like Quince is a big one, Wayfair, they send you a code so you can go on their website and get like a free shirt or free throw pillow or whatever. Then they also pay you to make the commercial saying that you did that. And here's the shirt I got, and here's the pillow I got. I don't think Magic's doing that. I think the ambassadors are basically doing free labor for them, and a lot of it.
Counterpoint, don't mind.
I don't mind it either. I mean, obviously, well, this is the part where the ambassador program and the bounties are tied together. Because the thing that I think is like really pissing people off about the ambassador program right now is these Hobbit boxes are $800 on the secondary market.
$9. So, they're up to $9 now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm wrecked. My life's over. This is not going to be good. But a lot of these ambassadors are getting, multiple collector's boxes, multiple play boxes, whatever else they're sending them. And they do the unboxing video where they get their big box from Wizards of the Coast, so they're pulling out all the shit. And for the average Magic player or collector, you're watching that video and the fucking dollar signs are just flying by. So it looks like Wizards of the Coast paid them thousands of dollars. They paid them nothing. For Wizards of the Coast, that is free to print those cards and mail it. It's the cost of shipping. They don't care about the cards. That's why I think it's free labor. But the thing where it's tied into these bounties. Do you know anything about all the bounties that are going on?
No, so let's describe what the bounties are. I know a little bit because we talked about it. I did some research a little bit before the show. But for people who don't know, what is the bounty system? Why is it a problem? How is it happening in Magic and other TCGs?
Yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So right now, there has been a bounty issued for the golden bordered Smaug card in the Hobbit set by Cash Cards. That guy, Cassius, I forget his last name.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he owns a LGS called Cash Cards, and also by Journey's End Games.
Journey's End, and they purchased one at Gen Con.
Yes.
For $25,000, I believe.
Right.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ben Bateman made a video about that.
Yes.
So, and I believe Cash Cards, Cassius, whatever his name is, that guy also issued a $25,000 bounty, I think, or maybe 30 even, for the same card. This is weeks before the set comes out, maybe even a month. I think when that card was first announced by Hobbit or by Wizards of the Coast, the bounties might have come out. So now they have given a monetary value to the chase card that did not exist before. Generally, before bounties were a thing, if you pulled a chase card, you just threw it on eBay and we all get to see where that price lands.
Yeah.
How much will someone pay for it? Well, now they're making that announcement, and so everybody knows that out of a collector pack, you might be able to pull a $30,000 card. That price is arbitrary. It is created by whoever's issuing the bounty, which does what? Drives up the cost of collector boxes. And isn't it funny that the people issuing the bounties are LGSs who sell collector boxes?
Yeah, it is pretty funny. I literally laughed.
It's just like the value of these collector boxes is literally fiction. And the people who are writing that story right now are the people selling the collector's boxes by issuing these bounties.
I mean, it's kind of in a way a stock buyback program, right? Like companies that do stock buybacks, they're basically saying our lot is worth more, our company is worth more, and we're willing to raise the price of our own stock by buying it back. And it's kind of market manipulation, right? Is that the big problem?
Kind of. It 100% is.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucks about it is it edges out anybody who can't afford to pay $800 or $900 you're saying now for a collector's box. And it's only because they're issuing these bounties. Like if there were no bounties for the Smaug card, I don't think these boxes might be like 600. Hobbit obviously is very popular. And we saw what happened with like Spider-Man. But again, bounties were issued for that Soul Stone when it came out. And so these bounties are not just something that's happening in Magic the Gathering. It's also happening in sports cards. Right now there's a top set that has come out, 2 top sets. There's a basketball one and a baseball one. The baseball one had a Shohei Ohtani card in it. That was the bounty was $10 million for it. Some guy pulled it on like week 1 of that set coming out. Also suspicious to me that these huge chase cards that are like one of ones, like the one of One Ring, they all get pulled.
Yeah.
They're not sitting around in packs anywhere. They all get pulled.
Look, Chad, I think that we are on the precipice of a much bigger problem and a much bigger scandal than even we're seeing in our wildest dreams today. We're going to look back at this episode like a year from now and be like, oh, that was cute. We were worried about the bounty program. Now we're worried about like fucking drug traffickers and drug lords, like intercepting these packages. You're telling me in the US postal system right now, today, there could be a $10 million something being just in an envelope or in a package in an Amazon box sitting on a shelf somewhere in a fucking FedEx truck or UPS truck, $10 million, and that's not going to get robbed. There's not going to be some kind of scam. I mean, we've seen, Chad and I now just send each other videos all the time of different heists that happen, card stores that are getting robbed. We're going to do a video about this soon. And as well, they also have this new system. I think this was in China or Japan or somewhere, but they had this machine that was able to pop open the packs, scan them, pull out the valuable cards at scale. They were able to do like boxes and boxes and boxes of this just running through the machine. Yeah. So I think that this is just going to be peanuts compared to the fraud and the scams we're going to see in the future. Because if this is a $10 million card, think about the money laundering opportunities that people will be able to take advantage of here.
Yeah, here's what's going to happen though. This is all going to collapse. Because who's paying $10 million for that Shohei Ohtani card? There's like 5 people who are able to do that. And once they buy the Shohei Ohtani, are they going to keep doing it every year just to have it? Eventually that well is going to run dry. And I think all of this will collapse. Right now in the sports card world, we are seeing there's a Cooper Flagg card, a rookie debut card that has this little debut patch like embedded in the card. The Dallas Mavericks, who he plays for, issued this bounty that says anybody who gets this card, give it to us, and we will do a big press thing with you. You will get courtside seats for a year to Mavericks games. You'll get to meet Cooper Flagg. You'll get to come hang out at our stadium and all this shit. Then an OnlyFans creator said, fuck that, I'll give you $3 million for it. Or $2 million or something.
Yeah, so, no, there's a bidding war between the team and the OnlyFans creator. Who is the OnlyFans creator?
I don't remember her name.
Jelly Beans, whatever?
Maybe. I don't remember her name, but this is in the news. You can Google this stuff. And so this is kind of like the weird world we're living in. With sports cards, obviously, it's way different because they're not game pieces. They're just like collectible little pieces of paraphernalia. But now we're starting to see Magic the Gathering moving into that same territory with all these autographed cards that are going to be in Star Trek. We're certainly seeing, at least now, every set that comes out, these big chase cards bounties are being issued by the same people who are buying them all up. And it's like, in my opinion, if you pull one of those cards, I would not sell it for the bounty price. I would send a DM to whoever's issuing that bounty and at least 25% more. Do you really want it or not? I just feel like the bounty is like, it's harming the ability for a regular person to be able to buy even like a play box, because they have box toppers now with Hobbit. You know what I mean? It's driving the price of everything up astronomically for this kind of collectability component. And again, those values are completely arbitrary. They're being set by a handful of people who are issuing the bounties.
Okay, so a number of things we need to cover here. A lot of stuff to unpack. So we got the ambassadorship program, how that's potentially tied to the bounty program, the value of these cards, how it's impacting the game and people who just want to play casually. So let's start with the people who want to play this game and they just want the cards. first of all, the ambassador program, I don't have a problem with it per se, because the only time I have a problem with any kind of influencer or talent or celebrity or anyone who is shilling for a product or company is if they don't disclose it. If they don't disclose it, that's misleading. It feels like, okay, well, they're doing something snaky. It's disingenuous. You can't be for sure. You can't tell for sure if they are genuinely endorsing this product or they're endorsing it because they got a hefty sum or they got a very valuable product, right?
But they're getting lottery tickets that other people can't afford.
Yes.
That's, I think, what is at issue here. When you see one of these ambassadors get like a collector box and they rip the whole box to make a 2-minute Instagram reel, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, I can't even find one of those, or I can't afford one of those. And then there's all kinds of like discourse where people are mad at the ambassadors, and then the ambassadors are like, no, I deserve this. It took me however many years to build my following and all this. And it's just like people are fighting with each other now over this. And it's crazy. Like, I don't think this is sustainable for the Magic the Gathering community to have this much animosity toward the people who are like promoting the product. I don't know if Wizards is thinking about changing it. If I was them, if I was Christopher Cox, C-O-C-K-S, Cox, the CEO of Hasbro, who wants to use AI to replace all labor at that company, if I was him, this is what I would do. I would keep the ambassador program, and what I would send the ambassadors is an early set of those welcome decks, and that's it. No collector's boxes, no play boxes, just some early cards that are not expensive that anybody can get, and they can do whatever they want with those. Play some games with each other. Open them, look at them. Oh, these cards are so cool. But you can't send them the boxes that have the lottery ticket in it.
So here's the thing, though, Chad. Like, from a business standpoint, let's put ourselves in the shoes of Hasbro, COCKS. And we are trying to increase hype and awareness and interest in our product. The best way to do that, and casinos do this very well, is to show people on camera winning. They want to see those big flashy cards being pulled in packs. And that leads me to a thought I had a while ago, because I tend to go to pre-release weekends. I tend to buy product during pre-release weekends. And generally, the packs that I open during that weekend, I get more hits, and they're bigger hits. And then later on when I buy the packs, I don't. I wonder, because I think that if people open packs early on for a new product and they get those big flashy hits, the best advertisement is, oh my God, look at this thing I got in this pack. Here it is. You can do this too. That's essentially the whole allure of gambling, right? You go to a casino, some casinos, they used to like take photos of people who win lotteries and they'd put them up on a big wall or they put their names and whatever. They got a leaderboard. They want people to be part of that. And I think they might even be seeding packs with more rares in the pre-release weekends than going forward.
I don't think they're seeding packs. It seems too hard. But it is kind of undeniable with like the sports card stuff. That Shohei Ohtani double logo card, this Cooper Flagg card, like all those cards get opened in the first week or two of that set coming out. And you're just like, really? Nobody's saving a box, putting it on the shelf?
That's why I think it's seeded. There's got to be some kind of seeding going on. And I do think they have the capability because they've been doing this for years. Yeah, they screw up sometimes. In fact, I opened a pack recently. It was, I forget what it was, like Zendikar or something like that. And it had a card in there from a different set, which made me think that the card was resealed. But it had like a $10 card in there. So if somebody resealed it, they left some value behind.
Sure.
So yes, it's possible. I do think that's probably part of the allure of this whole phenomenon, right? The ambassadorship program. A lot of people have, like you said, they feel different ways about this ambassadorship program. Is it good? Is it bad? I just think it's bad if they're not disclosing it, because then they're shilling for a product. I've never endorsed a product I didn't like or believe in or was able to use. I've had pet companies come to me back in the day, and they're like, hey, can you endorse our pet product? I'm like, I don't have a pet, so no, I can't. I can't endorse it unless I've tried the product. I don't think any of the ambassadors are doing that. Where I think that many people have a problem, like you said, Chad, they can't afford these packs.
Yeah.
And they're frustrated because here's the thing. When you're playing a video game, the worst feeling, and I stopped playing a lot of EA games for this reason, because a long time ago on like SSX, one of the tricky games or whatever, the snowboarding game.
I love those games.
They were so much fun up until EA shit the bed with it and made you sign like 10 pages of documents before you could just fucking press the start button. So in the games, they made the system where you could go inside the shop and you could just buy any advanced unlock that you want. You could buy the best snowboard. You could buy the best whatever. I'm like, okay, so now if I'm playing against somebody online, it's no longer about your skill and talent at the video game. It's now involving your financial ability and stability. So if that becomes a factor in Magic the Gathering, and it has been for quite a while, it
Sure.
sours people to it and it pisses them off, especially if there are exclusives in these packs that you have to spend a boatload of money. $800 is a lot of fucking money. Chad, we talked about this.
Sure.
The collector box for the Hobbit, the holiday pack, whatever, is like $12,000. It's the cost of a used Hyundai. I looked it up.
Yeah.
2018 used Hyundai.
That shit is different though. Like, money has always been tied to Magic the Gathering cards, and it used to just be like the old cards, the old alpha and beta shit, the Power 9, all the things that were like what is now deemed the reserve list. Those cards are very expensive, very powerful, never to be reprinted again, fine. And they cost that much or are worth that much because of what they do in the game. These contemporary cards, serialized cards, the gold border Smaug, that gold border Smaug doesn't do anything different than the regular printing of it.
Right. Okay. So why are people pissed? Because if you aren't getting anything, I mean, somebody in one of our comments in our video a while back made a pretty astute observation. Because look, TCG games and Magic the Gathering is a luxury product for people with disposable income.
That's not true.
How's it not true?
The collector's box thing is,
Sure,
but the game is not. The game should be affordable for anyone. I think that's part of the problem here, but it's also this idea that these ambassadors get the product, again, in many cases worth thousands of dollars. They get it early. They get to go to Gen Con and with Mystery Commander Booster, only the specific influencers get to play in it, and oh, they're all happy. And you're just looking at the shit and you're like, I can't even get that fucking box at my LGS. You only can get it at a convention. That's beside the point, I suppose, or at least it's part of this conversation. But with these ambassadors and collectors boxes, I think the thing that pisses people off the most is it's the way the ambassadors present the product as though it is like, oh my God, thank you, Wizards of the Coast, so much for no. And it's like Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro are the company that are driving the fucking price through the roof, that are baking gambling into this, that are getting you addicted, that are using FOMO, that are using all of these marketing tactics to drive the price so high that you can't afford the game anymore. And so to see people supporting that, I think is really what is happening here. I think that's at the base of the animosity. I'm not saying I feel that way specifically. I think it's just interesting to watch in the Magic the Gathering community how people are reacting to how Wizards is choosing to market the product. And right now, they are choosing to single out these ambassadors, in quotes, to be like, here, make 200 videos of you opening these collector's boxes and pulling out, Surge Foil One Rings and Golden Smogs and all this kind of shit, because that's what we want. And it's almost like at the expense of the credibility of some of the biggest influencers in the space. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen as a result of that. It's fascinating to watch.
Look, I've seen some of these videos and I have mixed opinions. Some of them I don't mind. I'm like, it's just a person. It's a dude. I relate to him or her as a dude.
Yeah.
And they're just opening a pack and they're so excited because they pulled this card and you can tell they genuinely care about it. Because they're like, I'm going to sleeve this up right away. I'm going to play it. I'm super excited. They just want to, play the game and they like these really cool, flashy cards. They enjoy it. And then there are people like you that you were just talking about who are just like, oh my God, thank you to Wizards of the Coast. And this is the most valuable. And they almost like lord it over you. This has happened back in the day. Chad, I know you're not like super big on Twitch or you haven't really like delved into that. But I have, and the people on Twitch who become partners, like I became a partner. I'm like, okay, cool. Hey guys, I'm a partner. Done. It's like a one-day thing. I post and I'm over it. Other people, it becomes their whole fucking identity. They're like, Twitch partner. They put it in their byline, Twitch partner first. And look, I understand that it's an accomplishment. Anything, an ambassadorship program, sure. But if you start lording it over people, it becomes the haves and the have-nots. And I think
100%.
That's the thing that people they're upset about. Is because there does seem like there's almost like a class system. I got to be honest. There is FOMO. I feel FOMO. Like when I see these exclusive events, like 100%. Oh my, 100%. we got the. It feels like the cool kids club.
Yes.
And the non, and even this exists in like everything. It's in fucking high school, and that's what people have been trying to escape. We've been trying to get out of the escape orbit of this clique of like high school cool kids, and now we're bringing it back into Magic the Gathering, which is like not supposed to be cool kids at all. Arguably.
Yeah, arguably, right. I played Magic the Gathering in high school and I did feel very cool. But yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know where this ends and what comes of it ultimately, but I do think something needs to change, or I think Hasbro feels that it probably needs to change. the backlash against these ambassadors with this Hobbit shit is like, whoa, it's wild to watch this go down.
What's the worst backlash? I haven't seen a ton of backlash. What's the worst backlash?
There's all kinds of memes. I saw a meme that was like a picture, and it said, it was the mystery booster or mystery commander booster, preview event at Gen Con. And somebody had AI, it was a table of Ben Batemans playing each other. So people are pissed about that. People, like I said, there's some of these influencers that are like issuing kind of defense videos about like, I do deserve to be an ambassador and here's why. Listen to all the hard work I've put in, and trying to explain like, how many hours it takes to make an hour of YouTube footage. And it's like, okay, well, depends on how quick you are at editing and stuff. Sure. I don't know if some of the numbers being thrown around are exactly accurate. They might be inflated slightly, but there's just kind of like there's an antagonistic relationship now that has developed between the people who consume the influencer content and the influencers in the Magic space. For sure, that's happening. And there is this kind of like, if you're a Magic player, if you've been in this shit for even the last like 2 or 3 years, Wizards and Hasbro are fucking us. You know that. They're doing it every time, as many times as they can per year. This fucking Shieldred Cumberbatch card is like, to me, the kind of pinnacle of it this year. That it's just like, fuck Magic the Gathering. We did a deal with Paramount to do a Star Trek thing, and here's a Benedict Cumberbatch Shieldred card. Go fuck yourself. That's the chase card. And it's just like, well, I guess I'm buying it. They are diluting the game with Universes Beyond. They are charging more money for it. And then you have these ambassadors who are like, they started out making this content because they love the fucking game and are just as addicted to this as anybody else who plays it. And now they're like somehow the spokespeople for the company who is wrecking the game. That is also like a big piece of this, I feel like.
Look, I don't have a problem with the ambassadorship program per se. All right, unpopular take.
Either.
Okay, but a lot of people do, right? A lot of people clearly do. I don't have a problem with it. Do I want to be an ambassador? Yeah, for sure. And the reason I want to be an ambassador is because I just want the fucking free cards. Because I'm tired of fucking spending money on this shit. It's expensive. Yeah. But also at the same time, I know that if somebody is fortunate enough to get inside this program and they're getting a bunch of free product and free cards, if you start lording it over people, it's kind of like, I don't know, you don't want to see like the rich kids like just playing with their toys on camera unless like that's their whole identity, like Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
The ambassador program, though, I think that Wizards is really painting themselves in a corner here. They can solve this problem immediately today by just getting a whole bunch of in-house influencers who are now employees of Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
They don't necessarily keep the products, but they do showcase them. Kind of like a home shopping network of cards. That would be fun and interesting.
That's
like
called Whatnot.
Yeah, like Whatnot, exactly. But Whatnot, they are actually, it is Whatnot. But Whatnot, they don't have a consistent or clear presentation, and Whatnot has like, every influencer on Whatnot has like a different approach towards how they're presenting and selling the cards. There's a little bit of gambling involved. It's a little bit weird. Some of them are like, there's like, there's like I'm not saying it's huge, but there's an intersection of a Venn diagram of Whatnot fans and feet picture fans. I've seen it. There's some influencers on there that are like showing their cards with their feet. I'm like, oh, this is a really interesting cross section of things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is what I would do. I think if I was, again, Christopher COCKS Cox, I would do something like, I don't know if you remember the old Publishers Clearinghouse videos.
Yeah.
Where this was an old sweepstakes back in the 80s and maybe through the 90s, where anybody could sign up for the sweepstakes.
Ed McMahon.
And, you could win $1 million or more. Ed McMahon would show up at your house with a giant check and a camera crew, knock on the door with some balloons, and be like, "You won $1 million."
Kick the door in. Boom.
Yeah.
Coming with the check. Families screaming, or kids running around.
Yeah. But I think they could do this with Magic the Gathering. They could have anybody who wants to could apply to be, in quotes, an ambassador or whatever, and then they just select some random people, show up with a camera crew at that person's house, and be like, you just won 3 Hobbit Collector's boxes. Anybody. They shoot the footage. They own the footage. They can put it out across their social media channels. It requires more work and more money for them to do that, so they will not do it, obviously. They're getting free labor from the ambassadors currently. I don't know. I don't think it's working. And I'm only saying that, again, because not personally because I feel any type of way about it, but because I'm seeing it in the Magic the Gathering community. People are fucking pissed off.
I look, yes, they are pissed off, and this is a problem. It's a problem for Wizards. I'm not super worried about it as long as like if these ambassador dorks are like, oh, look at my fancy card, I'm just not gonna play with them. I'm not gonna play with those people if I see them around. But I'll say this: if they just the other thing is we need to just look at it from their perspective, right? Like, why is Hasbro / Wizards doing this? Well, they have to. I think the reason they're not going through like sending random boxes to random people is I think they're also media savvy enough to know that people are getting canceled sometimes. They'll say something or do something. There's people in this community who've been canceled. If they were part of the ambassadorship program, then it's like a huge fucking liability potentially. They have to backtrack. I mean, this all goes back to one of the earliest big noteworthy cancellations was Jared Fogle from Subway. Subway went all in with Jared Fogle. He's the guy who lost a bunch of weight. He lost like 200 pounds by eating like veggie sandwiches from Subway. And then, whoops, he's a pedophile.
But they don't. That's different though. That was Subway hired him to be the spokesperson. He was an employee of Subway.
No, he wasn't. Was he an employee?
Yeah.
He was an employee. I thought he was just a college kid who just like started
eating
Subway.
No, he was, but then they hired him to be a mascot.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
Right, but they didn't really know this guy. They didn't vet him. They didn't know this guy. He lost a lot of weight and he talked about it. Yes, and it's like, that's our guy.
But these Magic the Gathering ambassadors are not hired by Wizards of the Coast.
They should be. That's what I'm saying. They should be, and they should be vetted. And then once
it's like you're saying, then there's liability. They would never do that. Because as it is now, they say like, okay, you're an ambassador. A box shows up at your door with a bunch of shit in it, and they're like, make 200 fucking videos. Bye. They have no dealings with them after that.
Mm-hmm.
Being an ambassador, in no way is Wizards of the Coast endorsing that person's content or anything. They just want the eyeballs that are watching that person's Instagram and TikTok videos.
You know, at some point, Chad, once like, you know, Magic the Gathering influencers get big enough, there's only a handful, I think, who might even cross this threshold. We got to start talking about why aren't they paying them? They should be paying them.
Because Wizards of the Coast is a corporate greed machine hell-bent on saving every penny and making every fucking dollar they can off of us. And if they can get free labor out of the biggest influencers in the space, and by the way, some of them, has like Tulare Community College ever been an ambassador? I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's the biggest.
Yeah,
the professor's the biggest.
Yeah.
Yes. And he gets free product to give away on whatnot and all that kind of stuff. But he doesn't keep that product, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know if the professor's ever been an ambassador. But like as you go down the list, they're hitting the next like, you know, kind of biggest ones. Does Command Zone do this? I don't know. We all know like who the big people are or whatever, but they're also getting like some smaller creators and giving them boxes and whatever. So they are kind of like spreading it around. But I don't know like how big will Magic get? Will there be multiple people with over 1 million YouTube subscribers? I don't know.
I think if it continues on this trajectory, it's inevitable. I think within the next 2 years, we'll probably see that.
It can't though. There has to be a recession in Magic the Gathering, and I feel that is coming. It has to happen.
Sure, but I also thought that with like Pokemon. I mean, look, these things are, you know, they're bubbles. They inflate and they deflate over time. There probably is. I think there will be a set that is such a turd that could like, you know, almost kill the entire franchise. Like that's happened a number of times in the series.
But there could also be a thing where like the collectability wanes, where people don't give a shit about the gold Smaug card or the 1/1 ring. Like, we all know the story of 1/1 ring. I think that was actually the first Magic the Gathering card that had a bounty issued on it. $1 million from, I believe, Adam and Dave's Card World, which was an LGS. And then the guy pulled it in, I want to say, Toronto.
Yeah, it was in Canada.
And Post Malone offered him 2.6. And so they kind of were like, yeah, cool, get your money, dude.
Post got it, yeah.
But that kind of set the tone for like, okay, we're doing bounties in Magic the Gathering now. I just think we're going to get to a point where it's like, not enough people are going to care about that to want to buy the collector's boxes anymore at that price. And I don't know when that's going to happen. We've been like on a steady clip of these things now for like 2 or 3 years. Collector's boxes come out other than like Spider-Man and just like value up because they have whatever these chase cards are. I feel like there's going to be a turning of that. And if the card mechanics aren't good enough to keep people playing, we might be in trouble for a minute. You know? And that's when I complete my Marvel set.
when the card mechanics stop being fun to play?
Well, when I can buy a Mind Stone for like $1,000 instead of $30, then I'll complete my set.
Yeah, $30,000 is insane for a card. It's a piece of cardboard, guys.
Yeah,
it's a piece of cardboard, and you could You know what's funny is like anyone could counterfeit this shit. You could just make one that's really passable, but for some reason, it's not the same thing. People don't look at it the same way as. But essentially, it's a piece of cardboard with some foil on it, and this is what
That was
we're
made by
spending.
this company, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's true of like any collectible. Obviously, you could make a counterfeit thing, but I just think that the kind of collectible nature of like the premium stuff, the collector's boxes specifically, I feel like it has to go into a downturn eventually. It has to.
Yeah. Right now, no. I think that people are speculating. I mean, we have such a weird confluence of new players who are interested in Universes Beyond, who are just like coming in. It's like, I'm a Star Trek fan. What's this? I'm gonna start playing Magic, I guess. And then you have old players who are just trying to buy the valuable cards, that are trying to buy singles that are mechanically fun to play or powerful in their decks. Then you have the speculators who are buying, but they also play. And then you have the speculators who are buying just because they want to flip. And the bounty program that they're putting on there, yes, look, I think it's a little bit conspiratorial to say that LGSs might be just doing that to raise the price of booster boxes, because, and the only reason I say that is because they don't always get what they order. So they could put in an order for like 10 collector boxes, and that's kind of what happened. I forget, I think it wasn't Prophecy, but there was a set that Magic the Gathering that Wizards printed back in like the late 90s. It was a red packs, and they overprinted it. They basically made it print on demand because a lot of LGSs were ordering like 10 boxes of Magic cards, and they would only get like, they were ordering 5, and they would only get like 1 or 2. And so they would try to correct for that, and they would order 10, and then they would get 5. So they kept doing that, and then Wizards said, okay, the next set's going to be print on demand. They all continued to place the same orders. Wizards didn't tell them it was print on demand, and so everybody got their orders filled, plus they had a huge backlog. They had so many cards, so many packs of this set, and it was a trash set, that they almost went bankrupt. They put them in warehouses, and they had to pay this huge rent on these cards that weren't selling. It almost tanked the company.
I think you're talking about Fallen Empires.
Fallen Empires, that's the one.
Fallen Empires was the first complete play box I ever bought for $60 from my friend's uncle. Had an LGS. We both bought boxes. We opened them that night, and I still have a full set.
You know what's sad, Chad? You could still buy a box for $60.
No, they're like 160 now.
They're cheap. They're
nostalgia.
So cheap. Yeah, they're cheap. You can buy packs. I know you can buy packs for like $10, something like that.
Nice.
They're pretty cheap, yeah.
Well, I don't know what the future holds for this stuff, but I do like talking about it, and I love watching it all play out across everybody's Instagrams and TikToks, and who's mad at who, and who's defending their right to be an ambassador and all this shit. It's fascinating.
It's messy. Chad and I sent each other all the messy drama videos. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's this person? Why are they mad at this person?
I love it. The Magic community, like, since we started this YouTube channel, I really am like paying close attention to it, to see like, okay, what kind of videos are people making, and what are my opinions on this or whatever. I love it. I do another podcast that is about reality television. Magic community is way messier than reality TV could ever be, and it's like so much fun.
It's so messy
to talk about.
Yeah, people, and this is the other shoe hasn't dropped. We're just at the precipice of this stuff getting really loud and noisy. It's interesting seeing how the people are in each different sub community and subculture. Like I am also somehow tangentially related to the cosplay culture in Los Angeles. Which, do you know any of those people? The cosplay, like the real professional cosplay people.
Not personally, no.
Oh my gosh, dude! The whole different type of messy drama, and they are just like they'll date each other, and then they'll have very public meltdowns and breakups, and then that will divide the community. They will stick a flag, and they're like, "This is my person. They're right. I'm team whoever." Yeah. And then they inevitably get back together, and everyone's like, "Ooh." And then,
weren't we supposed to hate you?
You see, it's like, well, we canceled him, and they're like, well, now we're dating again. It's just like messy. I think we're starting to see a little bit of that in the Magic the Gathering, especially as influencers meet and date and collide, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here.
Well, you have a promise from us here at Soul Ringers that me and Maddox will date forever.